evening and thank you for joining us for KREM News at 5 tonight. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
It's good to have you here. I'm Whitney Ward. A Medical Lake woman went before a judge today after violating conditions of her bond again.
KREM 2's Shannon Mowdy was in the courtroom after digging up some troubling patterns in Metzger's criminal history. Shannon?
Court records show Cynthia Metzger has a repeated pattern of posting bond, violating and getting arrested, then posting bond again. That same pattern played out just days before the December murder she's now accused of. Cynthia Metzger's court history shows she has failed to comply with bond conditions several times. In fact, she was released on bond just days before Colin Bastow was shot and killed in Medical Lake. She's now charged with his murder.
You're here on 4 cases today.
Now, Metzger faces more charges for having a sawed-off shotgun.
You were specifically ordered not to have firearms or ammunition. You had them in your RV.
Metzger posted a $700,000 bond for the murder case in late January, and a bench warrant was issued in mid-March when she didn't show up to court. Detectives learned in late March she had moved to Liberty Lake RV campground and arrested her.
Just 4 months after December 23rd, when my brother was brutally murdered, the defendant was apprehended by federal marshals with a deadly weapon and driving without proper license.
Bastow's brother, Hamish, told the court to take her record into account.
My family and I live in constant fear, and we need assurances that we will be protected throughout this process.
Metzger's attorney argued other people had access to her RV, but the state asked the judge to increase the bond for all 4 of her cases.
She does have added up between misdemeanors and felonies over 30 failures to appear, 11 and 4 respectively with misdemeanors and felonies with failures to comply. The pretrial services folks indicate that she had 3 active warrants at the time of their interview with her.
Commissioner John Stein set bond at $1.5 million for her murder case alone. Metzger's murder trial is expected to begin May 22nd. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
Shannon, thank you. And taking a look at some of the day's other top stories now. One man has been arrested in Stevens County for allegedly pointing a gun at a neighbor and then shooting into the ground, initiating a standoff with police overnight.
According to witnesses, the man said he would kill any law enforcement that arrived and he'd kill witnesses if they called police. There was a large law enforcement response. A crisis negotiator was able to get the suspect to peacefully surrender. He was booked into the Stevens County Jail for 3 counts of assault and 3 counts of harassment, threats to kill, with more charges possibly pending further investigation. In other top stories this evening, Washington Governor Jay Inslee is expected to sign a bill allowing for more police chases in Washington.
It passed the Senate yesterday, lowering the threshold for when police can chase after someone. Currently, they need to have evidence of a crime. Under the version that was finalized by the state Senate, police can chase someone if an officer has reasonable suspicion of a crime. It also expands the list of crimes that can trigger a chase, which includes sexual or violent crimes, DUI, escape, domestic violence, or vehicular assault. Critics, though, including police, had hoped that list would also include burglary and car theft.
All right, switching gears to talk weather with Chief Meteorologist Jeremy LeGue. Jeremy, how's the rest of the week shaping up?
Awful.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding. It's no, it's going to be about as strong as my arms.
Pretty strong.
Yeah, thank you, Whitney. Things are looking good. No, but seriously, if you look outside right now, it's going to kind of be more of this, but just slightly warmer. Today does feel quite chilly, but the first day after a cold front always does. You can see a couple of those scattered showers popping up, and our temperatures right now are just struggling to get into the upper 40s, and that's been a cool one for much of the day. You factor in the wind, it feels more like it's near 40 across the inland northwest. A few scattered showers continue to come down across the region, and they'll continue to do so through the remainder of the evening. Pullman's starting to see a little bit of action. Moscow seeing a couple of snowflakes fly, and that's kind of what we got going on. Just pockets of moisture, not really amounting to much, but some of it offering, well, some snow. But here you go. Cold tomorrow morning. This is going to be one of the coldest mornings we've had in a while. freezing temperatures as far down as Lewiston and down through Yakima. Yakima, you're likely down near or below freezing. And that cold is going to be a big deal because growing season has already started in a few locations. So keep that in mind. But here's the real story. Thursday is looking good. I think 53 is what we eke out. And then as we get into the weekend, it does look like those temps take a swing.
All right. Jeremy, thank you very much. Well, a huge win for a Northeast Washington woman. Tico native Susanna Scaroni won the women's wheelchair race at the Boston Marathon over the weekend.
KREM 2's Amanda Rowley spoke with her earlier today about that incredible win. But Amanda, it sounds like there was a moment she almost didn't finish the race.
Well, you could say Susanna Scaroni is pretty familiar with the Boston Marathon. She's competed it 8 times, and first place was always just out of reach. But apparently, the 9th time competing was the charm, because yesterday she finally won that gold medal.
This is the face of an athlete who is hungry for a win at this year's Boston Marathon, no matter the obstacles.
Well, I won't say it's easy, and I won't say that I would prefer that way.
And yet, Susanna Scaroni did hit a bump in the road on her way to the finish line. By about the 10K mark, her wheel started coming loose. Ignoring this would slow Scaroni down or cause a flat.
This has happened to me in the past, not very often, but maybe once a year. So I carried an Allen key, tightened it up, and then tried to get back to a fast pace and try to hold that and see what kind of gap I could maintain.
Despite this slight setback, she maintained a huge gap.
You can see it. You can see the smile on her face. She knows she has it.
Scaroni crossed the finish line with about a mile lead from the rest of the pack.
I always expect there might be somebody going to sprint past me at the finish line. And I just was so thankful that it was only me when I came across.
In total control as she wins her first Boston Marathon.
It feels honestly very incredible. I am thankful each time I race to get to be out there. And yesterday was no different.
She's now taking the next few days to rest before her next race in London this weekend.
As a wheelchair racer, unlike an able-bodied runner, we don't have a lot of impact on our joints when we are doing our sport. So yes, we're going all out. I'm going all out the entire race, but it's something where I can recover within that week.
Scaroni says champagne will be waiting for her when she returns to the States. And after that, she'll be back on the road to satisfy her hunger for a 4th Bloomsday win.
Now, Scaroni is flying to London late tonight from Boston. She's looking forward to getting sleep on the overnight flight. That's when she says a lot of the magic happens for that race recovery. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.